So hello and welcome to another tutorial from Advanced Software Tutorials. In this tutorial we will show you how you can create a Blazor server project inside Visual Studio. Now before we start, we would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and please check the description below for great offers, and also you can get our 3-part free video series of the developer success guide. Just please check the links below and it will give it to you. Now in the previous tutorial we seen how we can or how we would be able to have like create the ASP.NET Blazor WebAssembly version. In this tutorial we will see the other type, and which is the Blazor server version. Now in case you don't know the difference, the server version will have a live WebSocket connection always opened to the client. Now if you have a high traffic website, you might want not to choose this option and look at the WebAssembly. If you have like a small website, or you have like a website that have dynamic data always updating as stock charts, you might consider using the web server version. So now I'll go to my solution over here and I'll add a new Blazor project. So now when we create a new Blazor server project, we will have the option over here. We will select the Blazor app. I'm gonna call it Blazor server and hit the create. Now I'll choose the Blazor server app and I'll hit the create. Now most of the time, like the Blazor server structure as we shown in the previous lecture is almost similar to the Blazor assembly structure, but we have the startup class over here. Now if you are familiar with ASP.NET Core, the startup class is the core of your application, and it's where your application sorry, like have the ability to run, and like where you can configure your dependency injection and so on. For the Blazor server, you might wanna take a look at the program.cs and there configure your services and so on. Now also, as we said, we have the WebSocket connection that is always open, and as you can see we have from this configuration server side Blazor, and we have the Blazor hub. Now if I show you the data and the pages and so on, we have over here a sample service for us, and we have injected it over here inside our own server Blazor server project. Now also we have the pages. Now the pages are identical to what we seen yesterday with the Blazor server WebAssembly, sorry. You come down here, you do injection, you add code and so on, and we have the shared folder which has just some shared component. And even like if I compare with you the app over here code, it's just almost identical. because the main difference is the way Blazor is running, not Blazor itself. It is the same framework, just running in a different way. Now, let's actually run the project and show you how the Blazor will look like inside the browser. Now you will always notice in the network tab there is an open connection that always opened with our server. Let me show you. Let's inspect this. Let's open the network. Now because we don't like a refresh, okay, here is our own WebSocket connection, as you can see. Now this, if you click on it and see the messages, this is like your server connecting to the client browser and always sending data. Now if I go to another page, notice that we can see data getting exchanged between the browser and the server. That's because we always have an open WebSocket connection to the browser. Notice that these are all our messages, and we have the data always exchanged inside the Blazor server. Now, in case you did not work with ASP.NET Core, I just wanna point out to you something that you can do your dependency injection from the configure services method, and from the configure method you can modify your request pipeline. And if you can see the comment, here is the request pipeline for the configure and the services from the configure services. Now I'll do with you just a really small example, and that example we will be using it in later lectures. I'm gonna add a new class of service. I'm gonna call it we done a ToDo example in the WebAssembly version of Blazor with ToDo. Now we will do one as well as like a service in the Blazor Server application. We're gonna say ToDo service. Now this is just a really simple service, and I'll add the interface as well. Now I always separate my interface to a separate file, but because this demo, I'll just do a really quick. Now I'm gonna add a void method called add. It's gonna insert a ToDo to me, which is an entity class, as you can see. And we might need to get all the ToDos as well from the service. Now this is just really simple method. I'll add as well the entity class, and again separate them, each one in a different file. Now I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna call it item. Okay, and we need to just to implement this over here and add the methods. Oops. Now we're gonna use a property over here, list, I'm gonna call it items just to store the to-do item. Now we're gonna come over here, items dot add the item, and we're gonna return the items. And look how simple it is to inject a service. You just come down here and add the service declaration. We say services dot add scoped, and we're gonna like explain more about what we call them, the services, so you understand them like more, and like their life cycle, the different like scoped, transit, and so on. So now I have added my service. As you can see, really simple, really easy. I'll just go over here. I'll just duplicate this page. I'm gonna call it ToDo. Now over here I'm gonna give it the URL of ToDo. I'm gonna call it ToDo's. I will need to inject the service like this. I'll come down over here at inject ToDo service. I'm gonna call it ToDo service. And we're gonna say we will actually need to have the count, so I'm gonna like make the count the following: ToDo service dot get all dot count. Now just for caution, we're gonna add the callback for the check, and we're gonna add a simple input method as we done in the previous lecture or tutorial, and we're gonna bind to value. I'm gonna call it ToDo. I'm gonna declare it, don't worry. So over here we're gonna create a public string of ToDo. It needs to be capital because this is a property or a field. We're gonna just like add it as oops. Add it like this as a property. We're gonna change this event and gonna call it add ToDo. And what we're gonna call over here, we're gonna say add oops. So we're gonna change the event. It's gonna be really simple. We're gonna just come to the ToDo service. We're gonna call the add method, and we're gonna create a new ToDo item, and the item because like it's a string, we're gonna have it of the ToDo. And just a simple thing before we keep going, let's create a table. So we render the content of the to-do list that we store. Okay, we're gonna come down here at the T head with the TR, and I'm gonna just say item. And over here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna come down at the T body, and we're gonna create a for each. We're gonna create a C# for each, and we're gonna iterate the ToDo service.getAll, and we're gonna create a new table row TD, and let's render the item. As simple as that. Now, to have everything set up, let's go to the Solution Explorer, and you see the navigation menu. We're gonna create a new list item, and it's gonna be as simple as ToDo. So if you've seen like the previous tutorial with Blazor WebAssembly, same exact steps, the same exact results, and it is like oh, we're gonna say we're gonna change the name to ToDo item. So same exact steps, same exact result. Maybe different implementation a little bit, but same results, same action, same everything. So don't like worry too much. So let's come down to the ToDo, and oops, we have an issue over here. Okay, because like the items is always null. This is to fix it really simple. Let's go to the ToDo Service, and let's create a new list which will prevent the object reference exception. Now let's head over to the ToDos. Our page is working. I'll come down here, add a new item. I'm gonna say make bid, add. It's working. You can see also the count updating now. The most important thing that I want to show you is the following: is that always this WebSocket connection will always be updated. So we're gonna say make coffee, add this ToDo, and notice that we have these binary exchanges for the list item. Oh, we did not. We made a small boo-boo. We did not render the item correctly. Let's head over here. We have the item dot item. We shall call like this one ToDo, but I don't want to bore you with the details. Now, again, let's open our browser. Let's refresh. Let's head over to the ToDo, and we have the Blazor. Now let's add this one, make coffee, and we have our make coffee one, and let's say make bid, and our own ToDo with the Blazor server is now up and running. So we've shown you in this tutorial how you can create a new Blazor server project. We shown you how you can add a new component and also like create a new service. In the next tutorials we will get much deeper with the Blazor server platform, and like from now notice that as I shown you, almost like the things is almost identical, almost. Now again, not everything you will be doing in WebAssembly you will see in the server, so please make sure you know that. But I guarantee to you, most of the time, like writing the code inside the components, creating services, even like inject them, is just a matter of changing, again, it changing just the syntax of the code that you need to write. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please check the description below for great offers, and also if you want to get the free developer success guide 3-part video series, check the link below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in next tutorial.